ChatGPT just dropped their new MCP feature that allows you to speak to thousands of apps just within their chat interface. And in this video, I'm going to be setting it up from scratch and showing you exactly how it works step by step. And if this is your first time here, my name is Michele, and over the past 12 months, I've helped over 40 businesses implement AI and automations and taught over 17,000 people in the process, all starting with zero technical knowledge. So with that being said, let's dive in. All right, so fundamentally, the way that MCP actually works, it is your smart connection for all the apps. Okay, so let's say you have an AI assistant. In this case, we'll use ChatGPT. You tell ChatGPT, hey, can you do something for me? Can you use Gmail to send an email? What this will do is it will contact the MCP hub, which is now connected to email, calendar, documents, Slack, whatever it is, and it will take action on your behalf. But we can do this only because we have access to those apps using the MCP. The way that I would best describe it is basically the intermediate step that is connected to all the apps, so that when you tell it, hey, I want to do XYZ, it just takes action. If you've been automating with it, it's sort of like the similar thing to an AI agent, as in we have the chat input, it then goes to the AI agent, and then the AI agent takes action on whatever it is that you want it to do based on the tools that this is connected to. But this is different because fundamentally, we're not really setting up any tools. We're just connecting the software and that's it. And you can connect as many softwares as you want to take as many actions as you want. Again, the AI assistant here will send a request to the MCP hub. In this case, let's do send an email. What this will do is that it will talk to the exact tool or software that we want to talk to based on the input that we give it, and then it will take action. So the problem that this solves, or the old way that we used to have, is we had many separate connections and it was a very, very slow setup. And the new way with MCP, and the reason why MCP is such a thing that's blowing up, is because we have one smart connection that is easy and is very fast in access, right? So we have one connection here that we just have to connect to this, and this is already connected to all the apps that we want, so that we simply just have to give a request and then get a response, and that's it. So the AI assistant in this case is going to be ChatGPT. This is where we're going to be talking to the actual agent in this case that will take action on our behalf. And for us to be able to use the MCP, we have to connect an MCP server to ChatGPT. So the way to do that is to use Rube.app. And again, there's different places that you can connect this to. But in this case, I like to use Rube because it's very, very easy. All you have to press is install Rube, which will now give you a step-by-step guide that you can follow in order to install that into your ChatGPT. So the first step is go to your ChatGPT settings and connectors. Here, settings and connectors. Then it's saying to go to advanced settings and turn the developer mode on. So I go here, advanced settings, turn this on, which will now give me the ability to create a new connector, right? As you can see now, you have to copy the MCP URL. The next step is to go to the ChatGPT interface, go here, go to more, developer mode, and then we can actually add sources. So we can connect more, which will now give you a place here to make a new connector. In this case, will be the MCP, as that's the place where we use Gmail, Google Calendar, Slack, whatever it is. So here it mentions that we have to create a new app, call it Rube, add the URL we just copied. I'm gonna go here. Let's do Rube. Paste this. I trust the application. I can create. So now we have access to Rube. So now we get pushed back on this page to allow access. I can then go to my organization, and the organization was selected successfully. And in ChatGPT now, I can see that on the connectors, I have Rube. So now we have successfully connected our MCP server, which is the one right here, to ChatGPT. The next step to do is actually connect the MCP to these different softwares. So if I go here to Rube, and I go to dashboard, and I go to the apps, I can see that on the apps, I have the ability to connect the MCP, which again is this, to these different softwares. So I can go to Gmail, I can connect it. And again, this is the thing that would allow me to then be able to talk to Gmail without us having to go to Gmail through ChatGPT. I'm gonna choose my account. In this case, let's do this one. Press continue. Select all the different things that you want. In this case, the MCP to have access to. Press continue. And now the MCP has access to my Gmail. So if I go to ChatGPT now, I am able to take action on my email through the MCP. I go here, go down here, and now I can actually make sure that this is developer mode and this is Rube. Turn this on. All right, so I said send an email to michele@gmsolutions.com saying we have dinner tomorrow at 7 p.m. I can send this. And by the way, one thing I forgot to mention is that we actually can't access memory through this feature. So I can't remember the previous conversations that we had. Now what it's doing is you can see it's calling a tool based on the tools that the MCP Rube is connected to. In this case, is Gmail. If I go in here, I can see that this is basically showing us that the whole process that this is going through. Send an email to Michele@gmsolutions. The recipient will be this email right here. The time zone, Atlantic, Canary. Now it will go through a whole step-by-step process. It's always interesting to see how they think, how it actually works. Now it actually does the calling of the tool, which is the one right here. I can confirm. I can also remember for this conversation, confirm. So I'm confirming that we want to send the email. So this is giving me the different variables that would be in the email itself, the response, the request ID, Gmail, and so on. And then all set, I've emailed michele@gmsolutions.com, the subject line and the body. If I go to my email, I can see here that I have an email from Michele saying dinner tomorrow at 7 p.m. Just confirming we have dinner tomorrow, Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. Looking forward to it. Best. We can now obviously tweak it and prompt it better, right? But I just said send an email to XYZ. And now we can see that we accessed Gmail through ChatGPT without us having to go through Gmail or use an automation within N10 or make.com. And this right here should already give you some ideas as to what things we can really do. I mean, Gmail is such a simple example, but if you connect this to the different tools that you have, this is unstoppable. Like you can actually use any software that you can think of course, within this domain. So we have, these are all the apps that you can connect your MCP server to that then you can access through ChatGPT, right? We have all of these, which is super, super sick. Now let's actually connect Notion. Let's do another use case. In this case, we can create tasks in Notion. We can select pages. In this case, I will do GM Solutions. So now I connected my workspace in Notion to the MCP server, and automatically this now gives me access to Notion because the MCP is connected. So this right here is my Notion database where I manage everything for my agency from CRM, active clients, content, finance, agency resources, and LinkedIn content. If I go here, I can say, please make a task for tomorrow on Notion saying we have an onboarding call. What this will now do is that it will talk to the MCP server, which in this case, again, it's Rube, which is now connected to Notion. So now it's able to access Notion, to tap into Notion, to do whatever it needs to do. So look for available tools. In this case, it's taking the path. Now it's calling the tool right here. So searching through all the tools. As you can see now, it chose Notion to be able to use that tool. And by the way, if you have no clue what this code does, like me neither, so we're all on the same page. But this is basically telling me, hey, if it says Notion here, and I know that the tool is connected, the MCP is connected to Gmail or Notion, then I know that this is calling Notion. Now it's creating a plan for task insertion. And this is a good thing about pieces of technology is you don't have to explicitly say so much about the task itself. It can take action. And it's smart enough to think about where it needs to send a task, what it needs to do, what action it needs to take. Now it's calling the tool. I can remember this. Press confirm. Creating a task for Notion titled onboarding call in the user's task database. As you can see, this is the reasoning that we go through. We first need to find the database ID first, likely a task database, then insert a new row with a title and date property, which is so insane to me. The fact that now ChatGPT is able to access all these tools just by connecting an MCP server and connecting that to apps. This just lowered the barriers so much for people who want to get started or who want to use, whether it's businesses or provide the service for yourself and so on. It just sped up that process so fast. All right, so you can see now it gives me the options to choose which task workspace. So now it's even interactive. I can say task workspace. And honestly speaking, like something like this, that's easy to do. Like you would probably do it yourself. Like you're better off just doing it yourself. It takes like less time. But this is like something that you should see as a use case to then think about the different opportunities that you might have. Because if this is connected to all the different tools that you have in place, like if you're explicit with your prompts, and our prompts are very, very simple, right? Like they weren't anything crazy. So if you are more explicit with the prompts, like let's say I told it, hey, use a task workspace and make a task in Notion, like then it wouldn't have to ask me this, right? It would just do it and take action. All right, so as you can see here, it said done. I've added the task onboarding call to your task workspace in Notion. If I go here, I can see that a new task has been added for tomorrow with the to-do status and the title as well. And in this case, if you want to connect more apps to your MCP so you're able to access them through ChatGPT, all you have to do is just connect more apps here. I can connect my Slack, I can connect my Twitter, my YouTube, my Trello, my GitHub, Superbase, Bitbucket, like Figma. You can connect literally any software that you have, Miro, and have it take actions in your workspace based on what you want, all through ChatGPT. Like this basically removed the need to have these complex automations, these complex AI agents to be able to take action for us. Although I do believe that the limitation here is the timing. So this took about 42 seconds to generate, when let's say an AI agent on N10 would take maybe 5-6 seconds. Right, so there's definitely that timing, but for more complex tasks, if you don't want to go anywhere else apart from ChatGPT and have everything there included, then you can use the developer mode, but you can also turn the developer mode off, right? So you can just go, I believe, developer mode. Well, you have to turn it off here. And settings, connectors, advanced settings, and turn this off. So now you're able to use ChatGPT like a normal person. And again, the whole theory behind this not theory, but like the logistical side as to what happens in the backend. So we talk to the assistant. We send a request to the MCP hub, which is a place, again, that's connected to email, calendar, Outlook, Slack, or all these different softwares that you have. And then it takes action on the softwares based on what you told it using natural language. All right, so there is the new feature that ChatGPT dropped. Of course, it didn't change the world, but what it did is it decreased the barrier of entry for anyone looking to provide these solutions for themselves or for other businesses and be able to access all these different softwares all in one place. I think it's something crazy. And if you're someone who's been building AI automations and AI agents within N10, then make sure to check out this video on the screen where I show you 10 ways that businesses actually use N10 that actually work. With that being said, I hope you found value from this video, and I'll see you in the next one.